Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Pit Against, a live Flesh and Blood call-in show. I'm joined by my constant co-host, Kevin Smurf Murphy. Kevin, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
Nothing. Pit Against, awesome. Pit Against is a live call-in show. If you'd like to be on air talking with us about your take, join the Discord by clicking the link in the description or that Kevin is putting in chat right now. Join the waiting room, mute your mic, and we'll pull you on. Kevin, did you have a take before we get started?
Let's start with the bit that some people were pretty upset about. Reinar has been reprinted.
Okay, that is true.
Upset that Reinar was reprinted and you didn't get another new brute hero. Be happy that you're not a ninja player when Outsiders is coming out.
That was unfortunate. Ninjas and Outsiders. That was unfortunate.
It was. They got a set of very good support for both Katsu and Benji.
Bonds.
Just bonds of ancestry.
Bonds of ancestry.
Katsu went
so good.
A underwhelming, like, kind of niche deck to a deck you have to respect. Bonds.
Whelming Gustwave.
Descendant Gustwave, yeah.
Descendant Gustwave, yes, they already had Whelming.
Descendant Gustwave is 0 for 5. Bonds is 0 for 8. Like, Ninja got really good cards in that set. They got no new heroes. Don't complain that it's a heckin' Reinar reprint after you were all excited about getting new KO as well. You will have plenty to work with in this set, I am sure.
New KO is pretty sick.
Dope.
New KO is pretty dope.
KO, here, if you're brute and you're complaining, how many freaking blue 6s did you just get?
True. So many blue 6s. Everyone's talked about that.
All of them. All of them.
All of them. All of the blue 5s, which you already had so many, are now blue 6s, which is also cool because if you're playing brute, most people would argue you're actively not playing the best deck. You are not playing the meta deck.
Yeah.
You might be the kind of Timmy that wants to. Well, you might be a Timmy, but you might be a Johnny who's just like, I'm going to crack Reinar. It's going to be busted, and I'm going to be the one to do it. Well, KO's actually the one to do it. It starts out with a downside. You have one weapon zone. That means the rest is just for running around. Like, this is, you are going to get some fun deck building in there. But I'm going to disagree. They gave us Reinar again.
Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
What the frick? Okay. Why do they hate Reinar? Why do they hate him?
This literally means
why do they hate him?
This means they're giving him support.
Just like they did in Classic Battles.
No.
Right? No. Exactly.
Okay.
They hate Reinar. This whole set is just for KO. There's no Reinar in it. It's just KO. It's going to be blue 5s the whole time.
The Reinar spec looks pretty good.
It says if your opponent blocks, this gets +3. That's pretty gross.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross.
Okay. Here's the would Reinar still be? It's almost guaranteed that Reinar would still be a Timmy deck if they printed another new brute.
I think he would be a Timmy and a niche meta pick.
Yes.
Like super niche meta. Like they reprint Oldham twice.
Sure. Which I don't know, maybe not, because when they printed all those cards with Azalea, and then Lexi was like, gimme.
Yeah. Well, okay.
So,
yeah.
Well, I will reserve judgment on that one for the rest of the set and see how it plays out a little bit.
Reinar is the best anti-fatigue brute. Like, he's got to be better than
Yes.
Levia and KO and whatever at anti-fatigue.
Will be a little bit more consistent than I think Reinar is, but Reinar is going to have bigger spikes against those very defensive decks. Not that there are a ton right now.
No, there's like actually almost none.
Yeah.
And those that are, like Bravo, are trying to be aggressive because of how like mid-range aggro the meta is right now.
And because
combo,
of Dromai, like
Dromai, Kano, and then all the aggro decks. Aggro mid-range value. So I don't know. But yeah, they're doing Reinar dirty, and I'm glad you see it my way now, which is what the frick? They printed the poor man twice. They're gonna. How many heroes in the game have 2 arts for any? No, both Reinars now have 2 official arts because they don't want to give them. You know what? Actually, I'm on your side now. I changed my mind. They love Reinar. They love him so much they never want him to leave CC. If they make him any better, he'll just disappear into the sunset and live happily in his retirement home of LL, and they do not want that to happen. They want the poor man to sit at the bottom of the LL charts. They're pissed that Riptide is still probably below him on the LL charts and are trying to fix that.
That's why they gave Riptide his card in this set.
Yes, they did. They gave him a card in this set and last set. They're pissed that Reinar's got more LL points than him. Which I'm looking up now to prove my point. It's just disappointing. You know what? You can be upset. You can be fairly more upset about ninjas getting 2 reprints and nothing new on the hero side in Outsiders. You can still be upset that they reprinted Reinar. Just because somebody else has got it out worse doesn't mean you can't also have it bad. Poor Reinar. Poor brute mains.
You're getting an entire third of this set be brute stuff. No, I don't.
No,
I don't want to.
Don't care. Don't want to hear it.
That's a bad story.
No,
I'm calling it. This is
frick.
IRL backbeat story, and
no.
I don't have any sympathy for you.
Where's the LL board?
Like there are some people who are like, oh, it's Reinar. Okay, we kind of figured because it's Savage Lands. It's like his place. If there was going to be a reprint, he was number 1. They said actually from the beginning that this would be a mix of old and new heroes. At no point did they say this would be all new heroes. So Reinar was the guess for who was going to be the return.
Did they say old or did they say returning? Because returning, you could argue KO and Cassie are returning. Yeah, maybe. And they got the Cassie players. The Cassie players so got a reprint.
They're ecstatic.
No one cares.
They are over the moon. They literally could not be happier, and it's not the same text.
No one cares about the Volcor Dory. Yawn. Give my
Dory.
Yeah, give my Reinar. Give my boy Reinar some love. If we don't get a demi hero Reinar, we riot. And by riot, I mean complain at the end of an armory.
Or on the local Discord.
On the local Discord. I'm already doing it. Frick.
Might be low.
Who's Mike?
Mine.
Oh my gosh, we got...
Is it mine? Or is it too low? Or
is Kevin's mic too low, or am I screaming? Yeah. That could also be the case.
That could be.
I didn't even see... I was so wrapped up in my point that I did not even see anybody else was commenting on this. Who's Ruv again? I can't keep names straight.
That's Lucas.
Okay, Lucas, you coming on tonight?
Yeah, Outsiders had 3 of 6 being reprints. If The Last Guardian is new,
Last Guardian would be Valdo. I don't know if that's a hot take. Last Guardian is Valdo.
that's not a hot take.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm spoiling it ahead of time. Last hero is Valdo. It's just going to be this reprint Valdo.
Valda does have an Arya border.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. I don't remember her being mentioned in the lore of Dust Till Dawn, which was like the last Arya set.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like from an aesthetics.
Oh, yeah, we haven't had Blonde Boy from the art yet.
Okay. Actually, I have a point on that. I'm pretty sure last time we talked about how Blonde Boy from the art might be the next Guardian. I don't think so anymore.
Okay.
Because for Outsiders, we were just talking about Outsiders. For Outsiders, what was the flagship character for the longest time before we knew anything about the set?
Zuri?
It was the female from no, the Baby CNC.
Leave No Witnesses.
So leave. No, the
White
like
hair?
the 2 for 6.
Oh,
Generic.
Wreck Havoc.
That we saw that on everything. We saw Wreck Havoc lady on everything, and we were like,
"Whoa!" Getting a mech here.
Everyone was like zooming in on the art, trying to find a little details, and they're like, "Oh my god, she's gonna be the next mechanologist, and she's gonna deal with like junk stuff." And then there was no mechanologist set, and everyone cried. And even it wasn't as bad for mechs as Brute players are getting right now with Rhinar, but it was still pretty sad.
Wreck Havoc was on the promo stuff for Outsiders because that was the playmat for calling indie at the beginning of the year before Outsiders came out.
What
in the chat.
was?
It's not Yoji, I think, because Yoji's dead in the lore. He was killed in Dynasty.
Was he killed in Dynasty?
Along with the Emperor, yeah.
He didn't die with the Emperor. He didn't die. Look it up. I challenge. I'm using my. This is a first on the Pit Against. I'm using my challenge. I made this up. Yoji's not dead. Made it up on the spot. I'm using my challenge. Yeah, he's alive, but he failed it. He almost killed himself. He thought about killing himself, and someone changed his mind. He was going to jump off a cliff or something, or stab himself. I don't remember. Like he was literally.
He didn't die. He was alive.
Didn't die.
Failed to protect the Emperor.
Yeah. He's not dead.
I remembered somewhere that like.
But okay, let's.
For regicide, you could see his body or something.
Let's go back to Valdo. Valdo.
Yeah.
Whenever an opponent draws a card during an action phase, create a seismic surge token for each card drawn this way. At the start of your turn, if you control 3 or more, your cards with Crush gain Dominate. Sounds pretty good. It sounds like it fits this set perfectly with all the gold flinging around.
I don't think she would draw off gold tokens.
They use them during an action phase. Well, I mean, no, okay. Well, if an opponent draws.
I might be mixing her ability up with Earthlore Bounty.
You are. Whenever an opponent draws a card during an action phase.
An action phase. Oh, yeah.
So she draws off.
Yes.
She gets surges off of opponent's gold.
Yes.
That's fine. That fits perfectly. You put that in the set. You can slap that in the set.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, Valdo's great.
Mysteria bordered heroes in the pits.
They have KO and Rhinar. They had the Savage Land borders.
In the Savage Lands set.
No. No, it's not. This is not the Savage Land set. That I'm also arguing.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Betsy and Gladiator Boy.
Arena.
Yeah, they have the arena border.
The Savage Lands.
It's no. It's clearly a different region. There's a different border. Call James up. I'm using my second. I'm using my phone a friend. Call James up right now. Call James up right now. Also, Kasai is in the Volcor border.
Yes, because that is where she is originally from, and then she left
And so Valda will be in the Tales of Aria border, and it'll be just fine.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. I still think this is the Savage Land set.
Kasai is from which region?
Volcor.
Ah, so it is a region, and it's based on her border. So that means that the arena is a separate region from Savage Lands. Thank you for saying so. Lucas, where are you? All right, speaking of James, Duskblade is never getting reprinted. Or let me rephrase that.
Unbanned.
I'm gonna say Dusk Till Dawn will never be unbanned.
Sure, that set is trash.
The other one, Duskblade, Dusknor, Dusklops will never be unbanned.
That's you think that, and that's correct?
Yeah, that's gonna happen. Duskblade will never be unbanned. What's the ban list right now?
Not crazy, but yeah. I mean,
well, tell me why I'm wrong.
Fine. So I don't. There's an issue. I don't think you're wrong on this one because the game is slowing down.
Yes.
And that means the more turns you have, the better Duskblade is. And if
true, yeah.
Warmongers goes to $100 a card. Or like if it's unbanned, it goes to $100 a card.
True. Also, it would probably go to $100 per card. Yes. Thank you, MinMax. MinMax Gaming, who's been pushing this card for forever.
So much.
Oh man.
I think they have very carefully. They've made this choice with the future of the game in mind. That like they don't want Warmongers to be an absolute must for everyone. It's ludicrous the way it is. They don't want Duskblade to just be an absolute powerhouse, which it would be in any Runeblade.
Cost 1. Right, let me look it up actually.
Like the efficiency of it just starts to become ridiculous.
There's so much text on this card. Yeah. You can tell it's from Tales of Aria because it's got like a magic card's worth of text on it. Holy frick.
There are only 8 cards currently banned in CC.
That's not all.
Which are
okay. That's a lot compared to when I first started playing, and the only card banned was Drone of Brutality.
Yes. That being said, there are 7 heroes and 6 weapons banned in CC, which effectively bans more cards.
Yeah, I think at the time I was playing. Let's see, who's banned? Star of the Show, Briar, Chain, Icelander, Lexi, Olden Prism. When I started playing, who was the first? Was it Prism who was out first? Starvo was out first. Of course, Starvo was out first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then. Yeah, no one was banned when I first started playing.
Yeah. No, I think Duskblade pushes the game in a direction they don't want to take it.
True.
And they could have it's interesting. If Starvo had lasted until Uprising, they could have unbanned Duskblade. Because I think Duskblade is not the.
That's a long time.
LL.
That's a long time.
No.
Isn't it?
No.
That's a long time.
Like if he lasted like 2 more months.
That's a long time. How many more LL points? How many more LL points can he rack up in that amount of time?
At his pace, another 1,000. Because that's also an RTN season.
I'm gonna go ahead and read the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and read the tweets that they were talking about. So, Aaron from Fab Unofficial was talking about how it could be unbanned. It could be unbanned and be a welcomed addition that helps both Viserai and Vincent without being a problem. I don't know if I'd call him crazy because he says, "Am I crazy?" I don't think he's crazy, but
no. Like I understand what he's saying. Like
You can toss the idea in the air. I think that's fine,
yes.
but it's like
so like the reason it doesn't seem ridiculous, like it doesn't seem that like off the wall, is because Runeblade is such a weak spot right now, where it's like this is a welcome bump, where it's a good buff over Reaping Blade, but like it's an insane buff over Reaping Blade.
So
insane.
Breezy retweeted it saying he agreed. I expect as much. Brian Gottlieb said, proposed rule. You are not allowed to tweet unbanned Duskblade unless you've spent the last week playtesting against it. Context provided afterwards by James White, who's like, I have been banned from asking that question because I keep telling the dev team to test it. That was so funny. You imagine James is just like,
hilarious.
You imagine he just walks into the office and says, hey guys, can we just double check that we can't, hey guys, double check that we can't have sure we can't have Duskblade unbanned, right? And he's done it multiple times, which is so funny.
I think
oh my gosh,
at about the third time they were like, James, we just had a meeting last week about where we wanted the game to go. And Duskblade was nowhere on that list.
Unless you introduce
wanted the game to do.
Fab 4.0, we are not unbanning Duskblade. Yeah. That's what they need to do. Is instead of Fab 3.0 or Fab 4.0, they need to come out with Fab 2, and that's just hyper aggressive Fab, and split their player base in half, and then go under. Anyways,
you mean LL?
Yes, exactly. So, is this card unbanned in LL?
Yeah.
Yeah, played in LL. What's the problem?
It's not going to be played. Rosetta's better.
And LL in the best format.
Here's the thing.
UPF.
LL is too fast for Duskblade.
UPF is too fast for Duskblade. No, it's not. The best decks are Yoji and Taylor is what most people think.
It's 100%. I think it's still too
The
fast.
Professor. The Professor's really good. And he plays a slow deck.
I still think Duskblade will be too slow, and you're vulnerable to like fatigue because you just get Warmongers once and you lose all the counters.
And you get the entire table looking at you, which is not good.
Like this is your old thing of like, you don't really need a ban list in UPF because it's self-regulating. As soon as you play the busted thing, the table kills you.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, you want to play Duskblade?
And especially because UPF is like, I feel like UPF like Commander is best played with like friends. Like at like you meet at your house and you play like once a month or something like that, or twice a month.
Yeah.
And it's like that way. Okay, guys, can I bring Duskblade this time? And you do, and you run over the game. And then they're just like, okay, you can bring it again, but I'll target you. And then let's say like he brings it a few more times, they target him too much, other people get out of control. And then it goes back to, okay, then Duskblade's overpowered because everyone stops respecting it. And it's like, it's fully self-correcting in UPF. So that's not a problem. I was going to ask,
Duskblade's bad psychology.
Is there a card in Classic Constructed banned right now you could see unbanned? Or what is the most likely to be unbanned? I think I immediately have an opinion, but
no.
Not Awakening, not Ball Lightning, not Bloodsheath, not Drone, not Duskblade, not Plunder Run. It's got to be Belittle or Stubbies, right?
It has to be Belittle.
If Phi is gone, is Stubbies a problem?
Not currently, but in terms of what it... So here's the thing. We have no Elemental Guardians in the game right now, and Awakening is still banned.
Fair. I'm going to argue Awakening...
I think Stubbies is the... I think having Stubbies prevents you from printing a hero like Phi ever again if you bring it back, or you just have to reban Stubbies. At which point, just ban Stubbies.
Is it banned in...
Similar to Phi.
Is it banned in Commoner? It is banned in Commoner.
It was one of the cards banned in Commoner.
I was just about to say, but you can play it in Commoner, right? Like, it's fine there, right? And no. If it was fine in Commoner, then it's probably fine in CC. But if it's not, then it's not. I get it. It's probably Belittle. You're right.
Commoner just got Mask
Well,
of
Belittle
Three Tails,
got.
didn't it?
Huh?
Commoner just got Mask of Three Tails, right?
Yes. That's a common card, right?
Man, Fi was really good then, wasn't he?
No, it's a rare. Well, can you have rares in your equipment? I forgot commoner rules. I'm thinking of Clash.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think so.
The card pool includes arena cards, which includes common or rare. So yes, they can do Mask of Three Tails. Frick.
Yeah. Fi was really good then.
Oh, I missed it. The Armed Pit said yes. He would know. Yeah. So, so interesting. Yeah. But Belittle's so good.
Belittle is good. I think
1 for 6 go again?
Yeah, I think it is the least egregious of those cards. If you're asking for, I have to pick one card to unban off that list, it is Belittle.
Yeah.
Like, it's not... I don't know if it's great to have it back. It's a very powerful card. I think Fi is Fi the only one that uses it right now?
No, right? I feel like it. As long as your deck isn't too... You're talking about Belittle?
Yeah.
As long as your deck isn't too synergistic, I would put it in any aggro deck. But I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Does it go back in Viserai?
Yeah. Yeah, because he doesn't care. It would go in Viserai.
A lot of his stuff is like low base power anyways. So. But he's also not on like a Rosetta plan. He doesn't have Rosetta anymore, so. I don't know.
Well,
if I have to pick one of these cards to come back in, it is Belittle. And
I agree. I think I agree. I think you've changed my mind. I was snap decision was like stubbies, but then yeah, you're right. Oh well. Do you want to go get Pat?
Yeah, sure.
He doesn't know what to talk about yet, so we'll figure that out on the fly.
Okay. Cool. BRB.
All right. While Kevin's gone, I'm going to look at our follows. We haven't. Unban Awakening, you cowards. Listen, Lucas. Is that Lucas? I forgot who he said that was. That's Lucas, right? I agree. Don't tell Kevin I said that. Absolutely. Lucas. They need to, listen, unban Awakening. You cowards. I agree. Unban Awakening. What's the worst that could happen? Holy frick. Also, I'm so bad with names, especially when it comes to usernames, so I completely apologize. Lucas, can you get Taylor on the show? What's he doing right now? Nothing, right? If you don't want to be on the show, do you want to get Taylor on the show? Bling my Guardian deck out once again. Oh! Kevin's back, and we have a caller. Caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, first time, long time. I'm calling from a congested area in my lungs. Pat Shaw from Off the Rails TCG here. Just popping my head in.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you so much for coming. What do you want to talk about on the show?
You know what? I think the gold aspect of Kasai is going to be like a non-factor. It is probably already making some of her specialization cards and equipment choices traps. That's my. That's what I'm going with right now.
That is spicy. Okay, so I'm gonna read Kasai real quickly. 4 intellect, average health, warrior. If you've drawn a card this turn, your sword attacks cost 1 less to activate. Gold tokens. Once per turn action. Yeah, that's pretty good. Once per turn action, it's like asking you, do you want to do a good thing? And if you do the good thing, you get a bonus. That's so good. Anyways, once per turn action, banish 2 red and 2 yellow cards from your graveyard. Easy. The next time a weapon you control hits a hero this turn, create a gold token. So I guess there's no gold inside of dragons. There's gold inside of all of us, but dragons have nothing.
They keep it somewhere else.
They only hoard it, right? Yeah. They don't have it internally.
I think it should say except Kyloria. It should say except Kyloria.
Kyloria drops copper.
Copper. It drops items.
I think people are already going with like Crown of Dominion, and like for us hardcore Kasai gamers that were just grinding her hard in Blitz, that like the Crown of Providence.
You're doing what?
Aspect of like grinding games with Kasai. But I think Crown of Dominion, I think, is a bit of a trap. It's nice to have the gold token and get like the very quick draw, and the resource reduction. Like we love courage on a stick, right? Like, I think that's great. And I think more than anything, that's probably going to be like the ability that most people used. And there's a lot of talk about using like Nourishing Emptiness and then Kasai's second ability to kind of clear out attack actions so that Nourishing can repeatedly stay on. But right now, the prospect of getting like 6 gold onto Kasai, I think is super unrealistic. You know, and I don't know, like even the wager cards that are out right now, the warrior action, I think it's Fold'em or something like that. One of these wager, labeled cards is a 1-cost warrior action that gives the next attack +3 and a wager for a vigor. On there, I don't see that actually having a spot at the moment outside of like a limited environment. So like I'm hard pressed to improve the Kasai CC card pool with anything from heavy hitters. You really have to, I think, start breaking some of the metrics in order to get out of 9 times hit and runs, 9 times Blade Runners, spoils and your usual 2-card 7/8 stuff. I don't even think people should. A lot of people have been running like Iron Song Versus and things like that, and I don't even think that's. I think the Bracers, Braveforge Bracers, is still like the right choice.
Sure.
Though I think like Valiant Dynamo is so good that it's like we might be talking about getting rid of Dynamo like in a few months here, like because of just how good it like. It's very much Crown of Seeds ish in its repeated one damage prevention like value, and anything that can protect you for 9-10 points in a game is going to start having those conversations.
All right, I'm gonna name some cards. Tell me if you think this goes in Kasai. Wage Gold. The new universal card. The new universal card. 3 for 7. On it says wager a gold.
I think in my testing so far in the open format, I've faced like far too many Prism Awakener of Souls, and I have gotten like just running like CNCs and Nourishings. I've been getting like 9 time of Angel of Triumphs, like Herald of Triumphs, and the Figment of Triumphs. So you can't pop anything, right? So I just recently put in Wage Gold and the Wind Up Agility, whatever the instant discard for an agility token.
Yeah.
7-cost ones to start trying to fight off the Herald of Triumphs kind of effects there, because I need to pop something. And you can basically say 6 attacks aren't going to do it right now.
What about Test of Strength, the new 4-block generic that you clash with a defending hero, create a gold? I assume not that, because you wouldn't win the clashes, right? If you're going like a traditional.
I mean, if there's an attack action heavy like build, then
depending on the cards we get,
mechanic is going to be okay. So like I think definitely in a limited environment, there's probably going to be like Bolton is like I guess the only really comparison you can make there, but like, a Bolton-esque attack action heavy archetype there, and there might be something there into the CC where you're doing that, and like raise an army becomes like the only time you use your weapon in the game or something like that. You get your gold through the wager and on hits on attack actions until you get enough to make a raise the army go off.
How about
all your weapon go-agains are blue and stuff like that.
Yeah, and people still need to be running blues. I think people are still like running reds and yellows exclusively, and it's just not how Kasai runs. Like you need a pitch of blue. If you think of Kasai more like Katsu, I think you'd be more like in line with how your deck building heuristic should be, because you still want like a blue hand so you can pitch one and you have your 3 resources, and you usually want that to be at least if you need it to be a weapon swing, then so be it, but at least 1 reaction and possibly a Brave Forge buff as well, and get those resources out.
I think I know the answer to this one.
Weapon swing.
Yeah. I think I know the answer to this one. The last one I was going to bring up was Crown and Dominion, but also Imperial Ledger.
Imperial Ledger is an interesting one.
It's very interesting. I'm going to read it real quick. It's legendary. It's an item. It doesn't block. It's red. It costs 0. Action. So you have to play it, and then also spend an action that doesn't have go again. Shuffle this into your deck. Create a copper token. If you're royal, which you can become royal with Crown of Dominion, create a gold token instead. Burn 2 action points, create a gold token.
Yeah, I think it's asking a lot. There's that other, I don't think it has like a numbered yet, but it's a yellow, create a gold, like
Guarding Stake
without go again. Yeah, like that one I think is also like a big miss there. I think if you can find, a way to get an action point, like maybe Prism. I've been getting like Prism locked. Like I don't know if this was a thing before, but there's a cycle where you can Arclight Sentinel and get it back with not Herald of Rebirth, but the Angel of Rebirth.
Yep.
Gross.
And you can keep cycling in.
Disgusting.
Arclight Sentinel, and so if you don't have extra action points, you get locked out. But so if Lead the Charge ends up being like a back into being a mainstay tech card, then I could definitely see like a grindy or a Prism matchup having like Lead the Charges and Imperial Ledgers getting action points off of them. But I think it's too cute, right? All these gold generators end up being either too cute or just not good enough to, I think, actually be part of an actual game plan here. And Crown of Dominion, I think, is part of that. Like the gold token is good, right? Like the gold token from Crown is good, and if that is if drawing the card is the priority there, then Crown of Dominion is going to see some things. But Crown of Providence and like things like Sink Below, being able to filter your hand is so important with Kasai in order to get your blue, your red and yellow heavy hands, like filtering out one of those into a blue so that your hand is like near perfect is such an important part of the game, that losing both the fridge block of the Crown of Providence and the filter ends up being, I think, much more of a miss than a hit. You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
I'm going to come down a little bit on the other side of this, and this is not based on any...
Oh, well then let me say one more anti-gold statement, which is when I read Kasai for the first time, I read, if you've drawn a card this turn, your sword attacks cost 1 less to activate. That's kind of cool. Let's try to find a way to draw a card. And then the other thing was just whatever. The bottom part was not nearly as interesting. That's supposed to be the flashy part, probably. The banish 4, make a gold. But it's like, there's other ways to draw cards, right? Outside of gold tokens?
Because it's in action with Go Again, it's so telegraphed too. Like you really need to have like the In the Swing or a puncture loaded up to go if you're going with the gold. Like you have to ensure the hit there.
So I'm gonna come down on the other side for both of these, and
sure.
Particularly on this first one. That action, that activated ability, has no real cost. You get that just for playing the game in the way you normally would. Like your reds and your yellows are going to be your +3 buffs, your go agains, your blade runners, hit and runs, all that stuff. You're going to be playing those anyways. Yes, this is telegraphed. That just suddenly means they are highly incentivized to block this, even if it's inefficiently. As soon as you're holding one card, they have to suddenly think, and it makes the game awkward for them. And you get to do it for basically nothing. Just for playing the game, you get this thing where it's like, hey, this is now on hit gold. It's not that you get to do it every turn.
Sure.
There's a setup to it, but it's a setup that doesn't require you to change the way your deck is built wildly. It doesn't require you to pay resources from hand into it, which is also the biggest thing. Is like, this is nothing out of hand. It's no cards played, no resources pitched, nothing like that. This is all just banished cards from graveyard. So like that to me has no cost. The first part of that text I think is crazy powerful. If you've drawn a card this turn, your sword attacks cost 1 less to activate. That basically says if you pitch 2 into gold, you've already paid for your 2 weapon swings as well. So you get to draw a card for free, doing what you would already have been doing. When I read that, like that's what it is. So
100%,
like,
yeah.
That's already a decent gold payoff to me, where it says you get to play a 5-card hand this turn.
I'm looking up draw a card, and there are a lot of interesting things in here, like Gorg Tome.
Gorg Tome I would run. I have it in.
Yeah.
I have it in my main deck right now.
How about Mischievous Meeps?
No. Get out.
No.
You know, if you have besides Gorg Tome, I don't think you waste another spot on something that you wouldn't already run. Like I think Stroke of Foresight is like a main reaction that you'd be running in there.
Yeah.
But I don't think you're going. I mean, much crazier than Gorg Tome. I think
if you're not running multiple cations.
What about
Cashin? Yeah. Okay. I think you're running. Yeah, you're running 3 of Cashins. They're yellows. They draw you. Draw you 2 cards. They're free if you get them.
Wait.
Quick.
Correct me on Mischievous Meeps. Why is that card not just a 1 for 5? With go again.
What?
Like, how is that not like?
It's a 2 attack, right?
It's 1 for 2. Draw a card. Go again.
I would like to block with Brave Forge Bracers.
Yeah, it's easy block.
Oh, I thought otherwise draw a card just meant like otherwise all the other text, not just the on it.
No.
Oh, it's not just free draw a card.
No.
It's not just free draw a card or okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Oh.
Never mind. I thought it was just
so different.
I was looking at it, I was like, what? Okay, more realistic. Okay.
I do think Sift might be. I haven't tested hard on Sift.
Sift
is definitely one of those things. A lot of Kasai's good stuff happens when you can filter into the hand that you want, and Sift plays that role. There's a lot of the numbers people don't like Sift because you're net losing a card no matter like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
numbers guy.
Depends on where you're, where you find your value coming from. In that sense, I do think to your point about the action being good, I do think that getting the gold on hit is going to be a very important part of the game. But what I haven't found is any reason to not just immediately pop the gold when I have the resource in order to draw a card and turn on my free sabers each turn. So like, I have no incentive in no way really to generate multiple gold coins without being like actively thwarted on my offensive game plan in the first place. But definitely like we love generating gold, but like 1 gold so you can pop it and draw a card and continue on with your life. 6 gold is right now, I think it's very unrealistic to come by. So we still, no cards revealed in the set, but right now it's not really worth it. Day 1 alpha draft stuff.
Wait, I have 2 more cards. Scour the Battlescape and Trade In. The play from Arsenal, they have go again, but when you play them, it's like discard a card, draw a card, and the other one is sink a card, draw a card.
I think if you were into that kind of like Bolton, I don't know if you have like a Bolton Riptide Light type of scenario where you're attacking with attack actions and leveraging a clash mechanic multiple times to do some stuff.
Maybe.
But
yeah.
I tell you, the build that I have in mind only has Nourishing's main deck, and right now has like Command and Conquers in the sideboard, and those just got Wage Gold and the Agility wind up added strictly as like Prism tech. 'Cause I don't know what else, not much else is going to change my base game plan against most of the heroes.
Yeah. So that it's from the way you're talking, like if you're abusing that first line of the text, you're basically never playing Raise an Army.
Yeah, it's a yellow 3 block right now.
Okay. Is it possible it's two different builds?
It
One
could be.
that is just going like a mid-range value plan using that first line of text as often as possible, and one where you're just trying to get 10 allies and say, I'm going to swing sword, and then I'm going to pitch 3 cards for 27 damage.
Potential switch list.
I have yet to feel like I'm in a position where I can use Raise an Army effectively. So that's why like I haven't, and I don't know, I have not been in a position where I could be patient enough to ride it out either. So but Blood on Her Hands is actually a little more effective than I think people were giving credit for when they first saw the hero.
Yeah.
Courage on a Stick means that Blood on Her Hand is actually more in line with it's not quite Blood Rush Bellow, right? But having 3 turns where you can actually effectively pop six copper and have your free swings for free without selling out your equipment, just for one time. It's actually very good. It becomes
what
copper generation.
It's like a 2-card 12 or something. 2-card.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah. It's like a 1. Yeah, is it a 1-card 12? If you draw
it's effective. It's effectively a 1-card 12 because it replaces itself.
Yeah. Depends on what you sacrifice to get copper, which is just a whole other bag of worms. But yeah,
but it's not really like it's. You just
if you're just
standard Kasai build from Blitz, ship it up to 60 cards, and that's it. But like I it's entirely possible that that's still like that text is just so damn powerful. Like.
And I still think there's going to be like a good Kasai piece of equipment here, and what that does is still up in the air. But there's probably going to be either a wager or gold based, headpiece or something out there that might turn something like Raise the Army into
I think
a signature card.
I think it will probably look like a different Kasai build. I think it has to.
I think having like almost, I don't know if you'd call it like a 50-50 style build or, something, but it definitely, right, having more attacks than you might be used to in a regular Kasai list is definitely, right. It looks like it's going to happen. Like you have 7 attacks, right? You're going to have blues and reds and you're going to have 7 attacks and you're going to have on hits on a pretty regular basis. Either Heavy Hitters provides enough cards where those are effective archetypes, or we're all just going to play the warrior that we know and love, the guardian, right, with the same guardian cards that we have anyways, and see what what the 18th reprint of Reinar has in store. Like we're all going to just play the same heroes the same way, right? Just with 1 or 2 upgrades as opposed to a completely different a landscape with the set.
Yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of this set to see, so...
Yeah, the whole thing, right? All of it.
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
Pretty much. We still have 85% of it to see or something, which, we have a couple of cycles.
I'll be very interested to see how this, how Kasai changes from where it is now. Because it is, I think right now, it's a very effective warrior. Right, like it is doing good warrior things, and I think it's making Kasai players happy to have her in CC. So how she continues her progress as the cards get revealed will be very interesting. But I'm definitely at the moment not running the wager based buff and the gold strike card and stuff like that. Like I'm not building her with a wager type of on-hit game plan in mind right now. All right, that's what I got. My voice is shut down.
That's fine. Thank you so much for coming. Do you have any shout outs? Anything you'd like to shout out, like our Patreon or Kevin's Twitch stream?
God, I love your Patreon and Kevin's Twitch stream. It is my two of my favorite things to just like think about. You guys are my Roman Empire, so thank you for taking up so much of the bandwidth in my mind. Also, I have a little channel. We sunset 2023 a little early because I've been legit sick since October. Like it's just been brutal. They said have kids, it's nice, and then they sneeze in your mouth all winter, and it's you never get better. But we should be starting the channel back up. Oh, it's brutal. I can't even. Legit.
Oh yes.
I haven't had a single uncongested day.
Holy frick.
Once I get cleared up, sometime in July, we will start recording new episodes on Off the Rails TCG of the Action Point. And, we'll be back in action. I've consulted many audio engineers. I swear to God, the next episode I make is going to be edited properly and sound good. It's gonna be great. So it's down the pipeline. So go check my channel out, Off the Rails TCG. You can find me on Twitter and all social media, the same handle there. And
do it.
Pat Smash Good everywhere else.
Check them out. Do it now.
All right,
that's
guys.
an order. All right. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
You too.
All right. Oh, the only other thing I was going to say before he left was this is just me, I guess, probably. I'm infinitely more interested in the new heroes, Betsy and Olympia, because they have one line of text, which implies the exciting part about them is in the deck.
Yes.
That's exciting to me. That's more exciting to me. You play the deck. The hero just kind of sits there, right? It's a token. You could replace it with a can of soda. Yeah, that's fine.
Like Bravo.
Yeah, you could just write Bravo on the back of a receipt and play that as your hero. It's the deck that's really cool. All right.
Olympia will be better than Bolton at PT4. I don't doubt it.
I
don't know.
that's right interesting. Bolton's really good.
How disruptive the meta looks at PT4, but we'll see. I also want to see
Yeah.
Can't do that for Betsy or Olympia. They're majestic rarity. True.
Yeah. So I don't know if how much I can get into these takes, right? So
so I will say on that Kasai,
we just don't know about
is your next attack this turn gets +3 and may wager a gold. That seems like a pretty good card to throw into Kasai.
Is that the 1 for 3 whatever?
It's a generic wager.
Oh, it's the generic one. Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask about that. I forgot to.
I'm just looking at this and I'm like, how can I break Raise an Army? Because when you read Centauri Sellsword, it is 1 resource for 3 go again on an ally. No your card out of hand is just 1 resource.
It does seem a little broke.
That's really good. You are turning a yellow into 6 damage. You're turning a blue into 9. Do your Guardian Blues do 9 by themselves?
Do you count Towering Titan?
By themselves?
I'm trying to think. Does Pulverize come in blue?
If there's
blue Crippling Crush?
You just get to 8 gold and you play Raise an Army and then you just go Weapon Swing 24, Weapon Swing 24, Weapon Swing 24, you die.
I have a question. You're a professional player.
Thanks.
Which means you obviously know inside and out, as Joshua Scott intended, the tournament rules and policies, right?
Sort of. I'm a L0 judge.
Perfect. What are the rules on the heroes that I can play in an event? Like the piece of paper that sits in front of me that says the name of the hero? It's a token, right?
So
it is a token. Tokens can be, as long as your opponent's cool with it, something with just the words on it.
The practical ruling is that as long as you and your opponent are on the same page and your opponent understands what it is and what's going on, that's enough.
That's definitely the case in like armories. Is that the case at Pro Tour Valencia or wherever we're going?
I have what?
I said a name. I forgot where that is. I obviously am not keeping up with.
Yeah. So even after they banned Young Heroes from being played in CC, I know many people who have showed up using their Cold Foil Young Heroes because they wanted to play with a Cold Foil Young Hero at a CC event at like a Battle Hardened Plus level.
Okay.
I think even most Pro Tour competitors would not object. I think most Pro Tour, like most other players at a Pro Tour, would be totally fine with it. If
the audience is saying kind of otherwise. You need to have the real card.
And yes, you should have the real card for the hero that you're playing because you have to text and all that stuff. It's the same if you were to use a card in a different language. You have to be able to have the... If you're in an English-speaking country and you have a card in another language, you're supposed to have the card with the regular language.
Really?
That's my understanding.
I would call that a dumb rule. Americans need to just get good. What the frick? That's a dumb...
And that might be a Magic rule or a Pokemon rule or something like that. But like the issue is like for the hero, I always keep a copy of the regular token with me. So like I had like the full art Dromai from the Blitz deck, and I just used that in place of the hero card. But I had the actual hero card with me as well.
Okay, because when everyone was throwing a fit on Twitter and I was trying to get them to come on here and argue it with me or call me an idiot, everyone was freaking out about Majestic Rarity heroes, and it's like obviously it's not taking up a Majestic slot, so that's not the problem. But what it is doing is it's just a really rare token, and so like you'll need those tokens to play in big events. Yeah, and I thought it was fine.
Uprising, they were more common in Uprising than they were in Bright Lights by a significant margin. They were also more common in Outsiders than they were in Bright Lights by a significant margin. To find the adult ones is what you're saying.
Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I have any Bright Lights adult heroes.
They're stupid rare. I know people who opened 4 cases and got 1.
But that's... Why can't they just play a young hero and then like this is an adult hero format, so just assume that it's an adult hero? Can you not do that?
So technically under the rules, no. That being said, the agreement is this is a card that is representing this is the young dash database that is representing -IO. And my opponent and I are clear on that. My opponent understands it. They're cool with it. And then it becomes fine. If a judge were to ever decide to be annoying about it, they technically could.
They've said several times, Lucas, that they don't affect chances. Like your chances at getting a Majestic token and a Majestic card in the same slot. Like you will, like in the event that it lines up to where you get like that perfect pack that would have a Majestic hero and a Majestic card, it would just put the Majestic card in instead of the token. It put the in the pack that should have an expansion slot card and should have a Majestic hero will just have the expansion slot card. It will not take your expansion slot.
Sure, but that also just makes it harder for the Majestic hero to be in the thing.
Well, so I thought it was no big deal because you could just replace it with any old piece of paper that said Borvo adult and then put it down on the table.
Which like, again, like Lucas has said, I'm okay with it. He's okay with it. Basically, everyone you play against will be okay with it. But
that's it. This is it. Big brain from LSS. They're trying to find out who is a shark by implementing this rule, and if your opponent calls you out on it, the judge can immediately be like, actually, sir, I know you called me over, but I need to talk to you away from the table.
Like
That's how they find the sharks.
The rules are like, technically it is against the rules. Like, you're not supposed to actually be able to use alter tokens even if they have the text on it. Like, when Mara played her top 8 game at 20k, her opponent said, hey, can you use the regular golden ash tokens instead of your altered ones?
What if it was a...
Like, which is basically never asked to be done, except I think she had it asked one other time, which was literally the finals of the Pro Tour. At which point...
Is that a coverage thing, or just the opponent?
No, because it was the players who requested it.
Okay.
They have
Can coverage request that?
They have had... Yes, coverage has had requirements for that before, where, like, for dragons, you had to put ash tokens under every single one of them. And that's just a pain. And they went back, like, 6 months later and were like, no, you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So he brought up, Pat brought up, he's in chat, that Gottlieb acknowledged that just having the M on the card makes it, that's what's getting people mostly. So my proposal is you have an M at the bottom of the card with a gray background. It's a majestic token. Just
an A.
Also, I think there's 100% chance. An A, adult. Ooh, actually, that's kind of nice.
Because it's not M, it's not majestic. It's an adult token.
Adult token.
Or the other ones could be Y instead, because they're
young tokens. No, I mean, like, so obviously for draft reasons, you want less. I need an adult. Obviously for draft reasons, you're gonna want
yes.
You're going to want more young heroes in booster packs. And on average, you're getting a young hero in a booster pack, just for draft reasons. But also, I think we can 100% guarantee that we're going to have more adult heroes in this set than in Bright Lights. They change pack, the amount of times you get stuff in packs all the time. They've definitely heard feedback. And they're going to be like, okay, we're putting in, it's not going to be much more, but they're putting in adult heroes. You're going to get one a case, maybe. I don't know.
One adult hero per box.
One per box sounds fine. Yeah, that sounds good.
Probably right where it should be. Because you're not constantly opening them to draft. Like, you don't need them for draft, but if it's one per box and you're still doing 2 token slots, like...
Pat had the exact same come to James White moment that I had over this, where we were kind of freaking out, but now we're like, oh, okay. All right. It's just a rarer token is what it is. All right.
Yeah, but like also, and also he said it was hard to get adult Phaedra my Icelander Uprising, but it didn't say M. It was just, which I didn't remember it being that hard. I remember opening my first box of Uprising and looking for an adult Icelander token. I'm like, wow, there isn't one in here? That's surprising. I think I got like one of each of the other 2 though.
I think I have them all. Well, no, I have them all because Ridge bought like, what did Ridge buy? He bought several cases of Uprising. And that was like, I think it was the big set before before they were planning to have a kid. And so he was like, I'm balling. And he bought so much I have almost double Uprising everything else. Yeah, he doesn't play any of them. I think he played some Icelander. Like, I don't think he minds Icelander.
Oh, he did. He played that at Calling Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah, he likes Icelander because tempo decks are cool. But, yeah, I don't know. All right. I think...
I think they went, like, one... Bright Lights was way too far on the other side, where it was like 1 per. Like,
yeah, it was too short. Yeah.
I think I had 2 cases of Bright Lights, and I think I opened 1 of each, which is like not enough. That's 8 boxes.
Yeah.
Like, that's not enough. If there's 1 per box on average, and they can make that as precise as they want. By the way, they can make that so heckin' precise, where every case has exactly 2-1-1 split perfectly through each box, I bet.
That's freaking crazy.
I bet they could.
Holy frick.
Totally fine.
I have no idea about that. I don't work at LSS yet, so true.
But no, I think if they just up the numbers a little bit, it'll be fine. Like, I don't want the adult hero tokens to be $5.
Wait, how much? Wait, how much are? If I go on TCG Player right now, this is
like 3.
January 4th. I'm gonna look up who's the most played. Dash.
Dash.io.
Well, Dash database. No, Dash.io. We're talking about adults.
I would guess $4.
You're gonna guess $4.
Yeah.
Dash.io hero card. Cold foil, $105. Found the wrong one.
Yeah.
Here we go. On average, $361 shipping. One sold for $322 today. No, last month. No, yesterday. I can't read. Yeah, yesterday. One sold for, probably $3 and then $1 shipping.
Yep.
Yeah. For a single, reasonable. For a token, unreasonable. If this was Magic, where you came out with like 30 tokens in a set, and there's a token that you get from you have Keeper of the Glyph, which when it dies, you can pay the embalm cost to embalm it, and you need an embalm token of Keeper of the Glyph. Yeah. And that card is actually, I'm gonna look that up. It was 8 cents.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe they shouldn't be $4. I take it back. Doesn't matter. All right, I'm gonna close this out. I think that about wraps it up. Kevin, do you have any shout outs?
Nope.
Perfect. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye. Thursday. We're doing it on Thursdays now because we have Kevin's schedule. Kevin has a schedule.
Because I get 5 armories a week now.
This bullcrap. It's total bullcrap. He's going to soar
Tuesday,
above the rest of us.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
So gross.
I'm going to be cooking.